Things have drastically changed in the multi-tool market, especially the heavy-duty multi-tool market. The Leatherman Surge has been the king of the heavy-duty multi-tool market for a very long time. And I could make many videos talking about the best, the greatest, and the Leatherman Surge was pretty much just always there at the top or pretty much the top, especially when we consider that against the Swiss tool, the Leatherman Surge. I appreciate its T-shank adapter, its bit driver, and so there were things that just kept it at the top of its game year after year after year. And even with the advent of some of Gerber's tools like the Dual Force and this one, the Center Drive, even though this is a nice tool, there was just a lot of things that still kept the Leatherman Surge at the top. SOG really didn't have too much of, it wasn't that competitive against the Surge, even with its SOG Power Access Assist. There are several weaknesses in this design that made it close, but not that close. And so the Leatherman Surge basically reigned supreme for a very long time. I would argue even until a couple years ago, the Leatherman Surge was pretty much undisputed. Now recently, things have changed in the multi-tool market in that these clones that used to be just very close with the Leatherman Surge have actually changed, and to some extent they have gotten better than the Leatherman Surge. So I want to talk about 4 of those designs that are getting so close to the Leatherman Surge, and some are even better. Now the first one is from, this is the Day Camping DL30, or you can get the Byberry version, which looks just the same on Amazon. They're basically just 2 different brand names. I don't have the T-shank adapter in this one. I'll put that in. This is one of the cheapest alternatives to the Leatherman Surge on Amazon. The Byberry version of this is Day Camping DL30, but the Byberry version of this goes for around $36, whereas the Leatherman Surge we just talked about goes for around $150. So I think right off the bat you can see that there are some pretty major differences. Serrated blade, great set of scissors, T-shank with diamond file, regular file, and a fair enough knife on the outside. Inside, Surge style pliers, crimpers at the bottom, replaceable wire cutters. On the inside, double-sided bit driver, 1/4 inch, ruler markings. On the other side, all large screwdriver, smaller screwdriver, wire stripper, bottle opener, can opener. Pretty nice tool set on this gold Leatherman Surge essentially clone. This one right here going for $36 on Amazon. Now, not only that, that's pretty much the bottom of the bracket. It's very close to the Leatherman Surge. A lot of the steel components don't measure up exactly against the Leatherman Surge. The Leatherman Surge still beats it out in quality, obviously, but it does come very close. Now, where things are changing is that these overseas multi-tools are evolving a lot quicker than Leatherman. So while Leatherman is adding tons of colors to its skeletal lineup, the Signal, the Micra, all those, overseas multi-tool brands are realizing that people love these Surge clones so much that, hey, we can make some extra money if we add some color to the Leatherman Surge clones. And so that's exactly what they're doing. So Byberry has this in this really nice blue, like metallic color. The gold I don't think sells as well, but I think this blue right here looks so much better. I ended up making a whole series on the membership channel on how to cut this down and make a mini multi-tool, which I think turned out really cool. I kept the gold style wire cutters right there. They're not gold, but they're plated with a gold collar right there. And then I really enjoy carrying this tool. It looks really neat. So I think Byberry and some of these other multi-tool brands are very smart in that they're taking what Leatherman does with their smaller tools and applying it to the larger ones. And I think they will definitely have a lot of success. Now this one, in the non-cut down version, before I did all my mods, came in around $42 from Byberry from Amazon. Still a pretty good price for a very nice looking Leatherman Surge alternative. Now, the $39 Maltur is a tool that I have been telling you guys is the best alternative on a budget to the Leatherman Surge. I'm not sure that is any longer the case, but for a while it definitely was, especially due to its knife being 9CR18. This is a Damascus style or looking knife blade. It has the T-shake adapter just like the other ones do, and then even the serrated blade with the gut hook, which seems like a pretty much no-brainer option to add to the regular Leatherman Surge, but of course Leatherman did not do that. A great set of scissors on the outside. On the inside, very similar to a lot of the other clones, this one did have these gold-coated wire cutters, not actual gold, but just gold looking. That made it look pretty nice. Crimpers at the bottom. On the inside, the double-sided bit driver, quarter-inch roller markings, and then it did have the micro screwdriver. Some loved it, some did not. The large screwdriver, all. Then the can opener, wire stripper, bottle opener. Yeah, so there were definitely some things that set the Maltur apart and made it even a little bit better than the Leatherman Surge, in that it did have this hook, gut hook right there. It did have the micro screwdriver. And in this budget market, it was really nice to see an upgraded knife blade. Really, really nice. So far, a lot of these tools still did not beat the Leatherman Surge because the Leatherman Surge was better in its quality, it was better in its workmanship, and it was better in its steel. There were a couple things that were setting it apart, but still the Leatherman Surge wasn't that big of a competition until the last multi-tool in this category came in and changed everything. Now enter the new huge contender to the Leatherman Surge. This is the GHK 17. I have talked to you about the one I have in silver. This is the brand new one I just got off of Amazon. I believe it was about 2 days ago. Not only is the tool impressive, but even the tool holder is impressive. And some of you guys have asked, like, where do you get this? Well, this is where you get this. You get this off of Amazon with the GHK right now. Let's get this out of the package. Let's start with the pouch and then talk about this fantastic tool right here that really has a lot of design cues to the Arc Obsidian and a large tool frame. Now, the tool, or the pouch rather, is all right. It has Velcro. It's a pretty nice MOLLE pouch. It has a place to put the bit kit. Now for me, it's just too large. I know a lot of you guys like carrying the bit kit and the tool together. At this size, I think that's too bulky for me. It sticks way out of the pocket, really, really thick. Not a fan of that. I would prefer another arrangement, but I think a lot of people will like that, as it probably will not bother you. It does come with this extra T-shank right here. I believe in the tool itself, it comes with this saw. So you can have the saw that's included, which is pretty nice because some of the other versions came with a T-shank that you could not fold into the handle. Some of these Byberry versions, where this comes with not only the saw, but the diamond file and the regular file. Now with this bit kit, you get a lot of pretty cool things. Not only is it a holder, but it is a whistle. If you see here at the end, I'll just do that real quick. All right, the whistle. Then we have two different types of sharpening rods right here. Then also the bits. So right here you can see that you get some security bits, Torx bits, and some other regular screwdriver bits as well. So not only is the bit kit pretty impressive, but also when we look at this tool, the GHK 17-in-1, we get a Leatherman Arc style pocket clip. You can choose between pouch carry, pocket clip, really, really neat. Then when we open this up, we have a fairly comfortable handle architecture, which is not always the case in these large heavy-duty multi-tools. The only magnet in this tool is actually this one right here that helps keep the bits held into the driver. And the bit that it comes with is actually two of the Phillips. It's not Phillips and flathead because you already have some flatheads on the outside. All right, so we've got the nice handles, and then we come to the plier head, which is definitely a little bit like the Leatherman Surge in that you do have the crimpers, replaceable wire cutters, but these are spring-loaded, so that definitely is another change from the Leatherman Surge. And I know a lot of people have been asking for spring-loaded pliers for a very long time. Well, GHK delivers on this one. It is not a Leatherman Arc. It's not a free series. It doesn't have the same magnets. It doesn't have the same architecture, but there's definitely some design cues and some things that carry over and cross over from the two designs. It's not a Leatherman Surge, complete clone, or an Arc. It's a little bit of both. So on the outside, you do get a regular knife. This is probably one of the weakest parts in this tool in that it's just 5CR. I do think we'll probably see some upgrades in the future, but this is a fairly new design, so they'll come out with the base model first and then probably upgrade in the years ahead. Serrated blade on the other side. Very nice T-shank adapter. With this one, it actually swings out, and I've got to remember how this, swings out like this. And I like that because the other ones had a tendency to, as you pulled them out of the handle, they tended to want to swing out, where this one, you don't have that as much. Really nice there. Then the scissors actually do cut pretty well. Let's get some paracord. There we go. Cutting the paracord right there. Pretty nice with the scissors. Very impressed with the tool set on this one. The outside, that flat screwdriver, the awl file, then the wire stripper, can opener, and then a little screwdriver on the end. Yeah, a really nice complement of tools and all outside opening tools, except of course the pliers are on the inside. Very, very impressed. Now, $49, I think this is the new budget contender to the Leatherman Surge, especially with its upgraded kit. It's a pretty nice sheath that carries everything in there. That it's not for me, but I think a lot of you guys will like that. So yeah, I think this is definitely a really, really good deal. $49 as everything goes up. This is a steal to buy this, considering that this is pretty much the same price as what the Leatherman Sidekick, or even cheaper than the Sidekick and the Wingman at times. I know right now some of them are on sale, but when they go up in price, they're around $60. This is cheaper than some of Leatherman's most budget tools. Fantastic value. Really, really good. Let's do a length assessment on this. It comes in about 11.5 inches long, or 11.5 centimeters. And then when you measure in inches, 4.5 inches long. When we take the scale to this, in case you have not seen this, weighed before, comes in at 11.1 ounces, or in grams, 315 grams. Really great alternative to the Leatherman Surge. I think Leatherman needs to take note of this, especially because if they update the knife steel quality on these, I mean, they're going to have an amazing tool. And yeah, if they keep making it better and better, offer it in different colors, offer it in different steels like they have done with the Byberry and the Day of Camping styles, Leatherman Surge is definitely in even more trouble than it already was.